In my heart, I no longer believe that I have a realistic path to electoral victory.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. there suspending his presidential campaign, saying he's taking his name off the ballot, but in a bizarre twist, he's only doing that in 10 battleground states. He still wants people to vote for him if they live in a reliably blue, like Massachusetts, or red state. He says he could end up president in the event of a Harris-Trump tie. The last ABC News national poll had him around 5% support across the country. The question tonight, though, who his supporters will vote for. Good evening, everybody. I'm Ben Simoneau.
And I'm Jessica Brown. Our Peter Eliopoulos is following developments in the newsrooms. And Peter, Kennedy is endorsing another candidate.
Yeah, that's right, Jessica. Kennedy is throwing his support behind Donald Trump, ending his long shot candidacy for the White House. Trump responding to the endorsement just now.
We just had a very nice endorsement from RFK Jr., Bobby. I want to thank Bobby. That was very nice. That was really very nice. That's big. He's a great guy, respected by everybody.
And tonight, a closer look at the impact of the Kennedy announcement.
It's with a sense of victory and not defeat that I'm suspending my campaign activities.
Today, independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. ending his long-shot candidacy for the White House.
In my heart, I no longer believe that I have a realistic path to electoral victory.
The nephew of former Democratic President John F. Kennedy throwing his support behind Donald Trump, saying he's the best choice to champion the causes he's been fighting for.
And these are the principal causes that persuaded me to leave the Democratic Party and run as an independent, and now to throw my support to President Trump. The causes were free speech, the war in Ukraine, and the war on our children.
How much that might impact the 2024 race is still unclear.
My colleagues at 538 looked into this, and the data suggests that maybe there's about a 0.5 percentage point of gain for Trump in some of that. If folks are supporting RFK Jr., it's because they don't like the major parties, and so they may just end up not voting at all.
So Vice President Kamala Harris moments ago sharing a statement urging anyone looking for a new way forward. Her campaign is the one for you. Now, former President Trump hit several key battleground states this week, including Pennsylvania, Nevada, and Arizona. Ben?
Before you go, I want to get to what I talked about at the top of the program here. So he's still asking people to vote for him, RFK Jr., just not in those 10 battleground states, but in the other 40 states. Presumably that includes reliably blue Massachusetts.
Yeah, that's right, Ben. In his announcement today, Kennedy said that he's removing his name from ballots in key swing states where his name may take votes away from former President Trump. But for people in a state like Massachusetts, he said folks should still vote for him because he won't be a spoiler like in one of those battleground states. Now, he went as far enough to say that if no one gets to 270 electoral votes and the election goes to the House of Representatives, he would still be a viable candidate. Ben?
That's quite a theory. Peter, thank you very much. Peter Eliopoulos for us.